Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Either way, you're right. What the heck does he mean when he says that? What's he saying? What he's saying is that the way we set our mind determines the results that we get in life. Saying, if you believe it, you can achieve it. If you don't believe it, you're not even going to try. And that's pretty much true. That's pretty much how this whole life experience works for us. Some of us believe that everything always works out for us. And some of us believe I never get a break. Where does all that stuff come from? Well, it's our belief system. And those beliefs begin through experiences that we had most of the time as little kids. And we experience something, or we feel something in our body, or we have some kind of emotion, we have some kind of an experience, and then we interpret it in our mind, well, what does this mean? And sometimes we say, I never want to experience that again. I always like more of this, never want that. It's finding those experiences, and then we make permanent conclusions as a result of those experiences, and they become our belief system. It's how we operate in life. It's just part of us. We don't even think about it. It slips out of the conscious mind down into the subconscious, but it becomes part of that operation manual that we're using to get through life, to experience life. And there's a few words that we can use to help us understand how are those beliefs affecting us and influencing us. There's a psychologist, Albert Ellis, one of my teachers and mentor, and like to think of him as a friend, but he's no longer with us. But Albert would talk about how we toss the words around like should. And said, people use this word should, and we create these rules for life based on a should. He said, everybody should just stop shoulding on themselves, and drop the shoulds. I would suggest kind of go through every time you come to that moment, place in your life where it feels like it's a should, be open to the possibility of questioning whether or not that's true. Is that real? Should you? Shouldn't you? One of his other favorite words were must. Must closes down life. You think you must do this, or you must not do that. He said the same thing. It had this little phrase. He said, stop masturbating. Leave the word must out of your vocabulary. It doesn't help you, doesn't serve you. And he encourages people to just, as you're talking or as you're thinking, how many times are you thinking to yourself, oh, I must do this, or I should do this? And to find a way to set yourself free. So we're looking at a lot of the early beliefs that we have, but we form beliefs all the time that our bodies experience something, and then we think about, well, what was it that happened, and is it pleasant or unpleasant? And then we create some thoughts around it, and we think about it, and then it becomes one of the rules of our life, one of our beliefs. I'm always late. There's never enough. And so those are two words that I want to encourage you to think about as well in your vocabulary. What are the things that line up underneath always for you? What are the things that line up under never for you? And think about the possibilities of flipping those. Like, instead of there's never enough, how about you always win the lottery? Instead of I never win anything, how about I always win? There's always enough. In fact, there's an abundance. Just simple little shifts. I'd suggest you may create like a little notebook and just write down always, never, and then fill in underneath that. What are the always and nevers for you? And are they really true? And just kind of think about the possibility of trying on something else. So I would suggest, say, over the next 3 or 4 weeks, flip those and see what happens. Anything is possible when we open ourselves up to the possibility. It's a way of decluttering a lot of the old beliefs, decluttering a lot of the musts and the shoulds of our life, and just pulling that stuff off. It doesn't fit your life any longer. It may have when you were a kid, but it doesn't serve you now. So consider the possibility of dumping it, getting rid of it. A friend of mine wanted to take a course, and we were just talking about it. I said, I think that'd be a really good course for you to take. She said, Tom, I can't afford it. Hmm. Is it true, or is that a belief? And she said, well, no, it's really kind of true right now. I don't have that sort of extra money to do this. She said, and I know that if we don't pay, sometimes we don't pay attention, that it's important to pay for things if we're going to appreciate them. When they come to us as gifts, we don't always value them in the same way. She says, I know I'll take the course at some point, so I'm not worried about that. But I came up with the idea, maybe the instructor might give away one of those courses. What do you think? What's my response? Anything and everything is always possible. So I encouraged her. I said, well, just think about it. Open yourself up to the possibility that there may be maybe she'll do a contest or something. Well, turns out it's exactly what happened. As they were getting closer and closer to the start, the instructor, and I think it was a good marketing thing, she decided to have a contest. Whoever got the most people to register would get the course for free. Well, guess what? They got down to the last 2 weeks. Going into the final 2 weeks, my friend just really kind of contacted anybody and everybody she could think of. And it was announced on the day the course began that she won. A few weeks into the course, the instructor was talking with her after a class and said, I don't know what it was. I've never given away a course. And then my friend told her the story, how she came up with the idea and kind of pushed everybody to join and worked hard to make it happen. And so the instructor realized, oh, you know what? I think when you put that out there, you created a vibration in the field of possibility, and it reached me. He said, I got the idea. Well, why not? And if I do a challenge, people may get other people to register, and it'll increase the number of people. She said, I think it's more than appropriate that you won. She said, of course you would win. Why? It was your idea. It was just kind of confirmation of the power of our own mind and imagination to create our reality, to create our life experiences. When we've decluttered and we get rid of the junky thinking and the beliefs that don't serve us anymore. So I want to challenge you to do a flip on the always and never in particular, and and just put down the things that you believe now are always and things that you believe are never, and then just do the flip. You always win the lottery. There's always enough. There's always enough time. There's always enough of it, whatever it is that you need. And you might even stretch a little bit and say there's always more than enough. But be mindful as you use those words, as you hear yourself say always, and you hear yourself say never, what's coming behind that? Another couple words to watch out for is I am. And then what are you putting in after that? I am fill in the blank. I am depressed. I am always anxious. I am what are you saying about yourself? So always, never, I am, fill in the blank. Another word to be careful of and pay attention to is the word but. And we spell it B-U-T, but if you think about it, a lot of times when people are using the word, what they really mean is B-U-T-T. You know what comes out of the butt? Horse feathers. Um, whatever it is that you're putting in after, or you're adding to the butt and then something else coming out of it, it usually is just crud, just useless waste. It's just not true. Oh, yes, it is. I know you want to argue with me, but listen to yourself, listen to the butts, listen to other people when they're talking and they put the butt in. And I think you'll notice that a lot of times you could find exceptions to it. It's just not true. It's not fixed. It's not permanent. It's not always or never. It's just a way to argue for the limitations, which we all do. We all argue at various points in life for our limitations. And then we wonder, or you call up a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist like me, and says, this is happening, this always happens, what's happening, what's wrong, blah, 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 blah. And when we dig into it, guess what it is? Right. It's a false belief. It's arguing for the limitation. You've limited yourself in some way. You believe that you're stuck and it's always going to be that way. It's never going to change. So those are some phrases to pay attention to. I want to give you a challenge in the next 4 weeks to shift that stuff around. To stop saying but and then giving your reason for why it's limited or why you can't. Consider the possibility that maybe you could, that maybe Henry Ford is right, that you can, or if you believe you can, or you get rid of the belief that you can't, that it's actually possible. The success story that I got today, actually, the last, well, the next chapter of the success story is a client who was ready to quit. She'd had some difficulty at work, or some challenges that came up. She ended up leaving a site where she was working because they were just it was untenable, and there was even some physical stuff that had happened there. And so she left there, went to another place, and within a couple of days called up and said, it doesn't seem to be that much different. It's people are backbiting here. They attack each other. There's favoritism, and she kind of went on and on about what was going on. And I said, sometimes we see what we think we want to see, and we miss, because of perspective, we miss all the other stuff that's going on. I'll support you. I know that you have some dreams in your heart. She wanted to be a teacher. There's some things that she wanted to do. She needed to go get a degree. So, maybe this is life telling you it's time to take that step. Step out. So I hadn't heard from her, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. I got a text this morning and said, I don't think I'm going to quit the job. She said, I think I'm right where I need to be. And went on to tell the story of what happened. So another person that was hired is teaching at the very institution that she wants to teach at, who went back to school while she was working to get her advanced degree. And as they were talking, my client said, that's exactly what I wanted to do. How did you do it? And so she was telling her exactly what she did, what the steps were to get the degree while she was working, and then how she got the job teaching at this particular institution that isn't hiring, hasn't been hiring, probably is not going to hire. And she said, they actually could use someone like you, but let's get you ready for it. And so my friend said, you talked about me, talked to her about serendipity. I said, sometimes things, when we're really open to the possibilities out here in the field of possibility, things happen, things shift, things change, because we're actively taking part in creating our own life. She said, I can't believe it. It's actually happening. And so as she's writing this story, she's saying, this is exactly what you said. She said, you didn't say all of this, but you did say things will happen. They'll follow in an order. I can't look 6 moves ahead. Just the next step, the next step, the next step. He said they all got confirmed in this very short conversation. And then we went out and had a cup of coffee. And she said it just opened up the whole process for me. She said, I'm so excited. You were right. This stuff works. It was so exciting to hear her say that, and for her to experience it. And I can't wait to see what the next chapter is going to look like. I can't wait to hear about the next steps that she takes, and to understand that she's embraced this process of change and possibility because of letting the past be the past. We can't change it. Whatever's happened in the past, whatever those beliefs are that we formed in the past, if they're not serving us, let them go. And in the future, sometimes we get so far out ahead of ourselves. That's the ground where anxiety begins, because we get too far over our skis, so to speak, on the jump, and we're not in balance, we're not in alignment. Just take things in order. It's the next moment. It's the now moment that's real. It's right here, right now, this now moment. Everything else, we can't do anything about it in the past, which is why a lot of times if we're feeling depressed or feeling sad, it's because we're fighting against our brain that's smart enough to know we can't fix it. We can't go back. There's nothing to do about it. It is kind of hopeless and helpless. We can't fix it. We can change things going forward. I can make amends if I was wrong or I did something I need to fix or regret or take care of. That that we can do going forward. But the past itself, I can't undo this morning. I can't unsay things I said. I can't say the things that I might have said. I can't take back the time I wouldn't say I wasted, because it was fun watching the sporting event, but watching that sporting event, I can't get that time back and put it to something else that I also needed to do today, that I'm now going to do later this afternoon when we finish talking here. But I don't want to be sad about it. I don't want to be depressed about it. I just accept that that's in the past. We let it go, and then we can move into the present moment, and then make plans for the future. Can't go too far out ahead. What's the next step? The next step, the next step, which is what she experienced. The next few steps are laid out. She's going to follow them, and she has a guide, a mentor who can help her with that. It's perfect. We get too far out there, it's like we're not grounded any longer. We're out in the make-believe world. We need to kind of bring it back a little bit, or we're going to start to really get anxious and worried and anticipate all kinds of things happening and possibilities that can go wrong and blah, blah, blah. And that's like crazy. Step back. Come on back a little bit. Present moment, right here, right now. And then the field of possibility. All the possibilities for anything and everything are right here, right in the next moment as we go into it. I heard a story about someone who kind of did the traditional route. She was overcome with depression. It just got worse and worse. Overcome with anxiety about the future, got worse and worse. All of her friends, all of her family, pushing her toward the traditional route of seeing a therapist like myself, and then adding medication to it. And I can tell you, I've been doing this for a long time, as you can probably guess. I have a lifetime experience. And why we're doing this is to say, you know, some of that stuff that we talk about out there, not probably the best route to take. Now, if you're on meds, I'm not saying stop, none of that. But get in touch with yourself. Get in touch with some of the old clutter of beliefs that no longer serve you and start to clear some of that stuff out. Identify what it is that you want from here in life going forward. What do you want? What are your desires? What are your dreams? What are your hopes at this point? The person talking about it said she slowly cut back on everything and just started to take care of herself. She got a good foundation of sleep. Went back to doing exercises and some yoga. She started to eat right, to eat a balanced diet, get rid of all the junk food, get rid of the sugar, get rid of the caffeine, anything else that she may have been taking, any sort of substances or alcohol and that sort of stuff. It just began to make some shifts in her body physically, and then in her belief system, and then in her behavior, then in her thinking, and her life began to change. Depression eased up, anxiety came down, and she could begin to put her life together the way she hoped and dreamed it could be. And is finding success with that, making simple daily shifts, being present in the moment. We can all do that. We can all improve our life and the quality of our life by making some simple, direct, purposeful, intentional shifts and changes. So I want to encourage you to think about, when you say I am, what are you putting in behind that? I am depressed. I am sad. I am, or are you saying, hey, I'm great. I am feeling wonderful. I am in relationship to the universe. I am connected to infinite creative power. I am living a purposeful, intentional life. I am living my life on purpose. I'm not just kind of drifting around and taking things by default. All of which possible, purposeful, being intentional about your life. So as we make this journey together, I can't wait to see what creative and marvelous things you do in your life as you kind of clear some of that junky thinking out, and you stop arguing for the limitations. You're paying attention to what you're filling in behind the butt, getting rid of that, making a couple little vocabulary shifts, and just enjoying your life. So that's the challenge for the next 4 weeks. I can't wait. Make some comments, feel free to write, and your questions. Um, and but most of all, your experiences. What are the things that are happening? Where are the shifts taking place? I'm so excited for you in this process, and to share it with all of us. Let us know what's happening with you. Like the video, I hope that you will, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Share this site with other people that you think might benefit from it. I'm here with you. I'm here for you, in your corner. I believe in you. I believe in humanity. I believe that we can all do better. We can be better. And it's changing this amazing organ and using it for what it was intended to be. A source of light and hope, vision, dreams, taking our desires and creating an amazing life filled with all kinds of possibilities and potential. It's happening just the next thing. It's all right there for you. So I wish you well in your adventure. Stay in touch. Anything that I can do to support, there's some information in the information box below about how to do that. And we're here for you. So share with one another. Looking forward to getting to know all of you even better. Great days ahead. restful evenings for all of us, wherever you are in the world ahead. Sleep is important. It's the foundation for everything. Whether it's Vince Lombardi or one of the big generals said, fatigue makes cowards of us all. It certainly raises the level of fear. And the level of fear goes down when we feel rested, when we've exercised the body, we've exercised the mind. Feed the mind just as you feed your body healthy things, healthy thoughts, healthy videos. There's so much out here that's positive. Turn off some of the cultural, you know what, turn that down. That's like the stuff that comes out of the butt. Just let that stuff go. Some wonderful things are happening. I wish you all of the, we talked about luck on one of the other videos. I wish you all the luck that's out here as you make these shifts. Looking forward to talking to you again soon.